Now, when I left the house, everything looked like this. It was all blue. My weather app said weather warning, and I was like, nah, it's blue skies. It's gone grey. But that's okay. That's okay, because we're out here and we're just reviewing, looking, wearing, enjoying the new watch. This is the the SKX. This is a Seiko 5. Some people call it the concrete. Some people call it the cement. It's got this just grey exterior, and it suits this grey ass day. So it's cold as well out here. So I think we'll head back into the studio and we'll do a proper review, dimensions, all that good stuff. But yeah, man, the grey man. So we are back in the studio, back out of this weird cold grey day. We've dried off, we've warmed up, we're just chilling. We've got a nice cup of tea because you got to. And we're here to talk about this Seiko 5. Now, I bought this Seiko 5 because of a little memory lane situation I've got going on. I had the SKX, the classic Seiko SKX. The blue and red. I'll put some photos of it in here. Now, I sold it a while ago when I was building this very podcast studio that I am kind of podcast, EDC, writing room, sometimes junk room for the family. As I was building this place, I would periodically run out of money. And I think in order to finish off the roof, I sold a whole bunch of watches. I started at the beginning when I started to build this studio. I had about 20 watches, and I finished with 7 because I would just occasionally sell some. And one of the watches I sold was my Seiko SKX. I got a couple of £100 for it, which I thought at the time, it wasn't perfect, but it'll do. And I need the money, like I say, to finish off the roof on the studio. So I sold it, but I've regretted it ever since, especially as I've watched the prices go to 300 and 400 and some fools asking for like £600. And when I saw this, I just thought to myself, that, my friend, is very similar. We know it's going to have pretty much exactly the same machining as far as the case. It's going to be the same size and dimensions, which it is. Let me actually get my tool and we'll check dimensions. Yeah, so here we are. Got my little measurement tool. Let's do dimensions. So always a bit tricky with watches with the crowns here. So the actual case is 42.6. 42.6. A thickness. Let me just move the NATO out of the way. I should just whip this NATO off for a minute. The thickness of this particular watch, it's got a flat crystal there. I make it pretty much 13.6, 13.7, somewhere in there. The lug to lug, and this is where these watches normally win. So the lug to lug is 45.3, and I think it's 22 lugs. So pretty much exactly the same dimensions as the old SKX, that old dog, that old winner, and yeah. A lot has changed though. New movement, hand wound, no screw down crown, which means water resistance is rubbish. As soon as we pull out that crown, we got hacking. So that movement is just not moving. The moment you put the crown back in, boom, it starts to go. Hacking, in case you don't know, this is a new thing for you. It's just a way of like really precisely setting your watch, because you can pull the crown out when your second hand gets right at that 12 o'clock, set your time, set your date, and then push it back in, and you'll know that you are minute for minute straight bang on. Let's see, let me just I'll put it back on this NATO for the moment. So I saw this watch, spiritual successor to the SKX. These have been out in one way or another for a long time now. They've done all kinds of different ones. They've just brought out a GMT, which looks really juicy. I think I might actually have to get one of those in and have a look at it, man. I love a GMT. And I used to have a couple of GMTs, but again, they got sold to fund, like to buy the doors of the studio or something. But anyway, let's check out the bezel action. Sorry if you can hear drilling in the background. My neighbour, who's got his own cabin right there, who might be doing a drilling podcast or something now, we don't know. He is actually he's there drilling. But anyway, let's see if we can get this bad boy. Let me turn my... it's got a little bit of resistance. It's not spongy, but it's got a nice enough resistance. I remember my SKX having a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more something about the bezel, a little bit more secure, steadfast, kind of more sturdy clicks as it went by. But yeah, lovely. One of the things I do like about this watch, I do like the movement. I love the colours of this particular watch. I love they've drilled the lugs, because that's easy. On my SKX, I would have I had a mil spec proper steel bracelet on mine, and that was always a real bitch to get the solid end links in the SKX lugs, and it's good that they've done drilled lugs there. No sign on the crown. It seems they've gone to great effort to put a new Seiko 5, get that 5 logo there, which is also like an S. It seems they could have put that on the lug for my money, but hey, what are you going to do? Quick mention actually of the packaging. Last time I bought a Seiko, like I said, I had SKX, I had a Flight Master, I had a couple of other Seiko 5s. This is my only Seiko now. This bad boy, the Seiko 5. I did a video on this a while ago, one watch to rule them all. But when I got that, the boxes were small, plasticky. There was no kind of messing around. But this box, it's by no means premium, don't get me wrong. But there's something about it, man. It's just got a little bit more, I don't know, it seems like they're putting a little bit more effort in. And Seiko, I appreciate it. Got a little booklet here, and even the booklet's got a little envelope, which is where you get your guarantee. Don't say much about it. Anyway, Watch Nation, shout out. I guess you're the guys I bought it from through Amazon. Do you know what I mean? Like, you click on Amazon, you don't really know who you're buying from, right? You just click on Amazon, which is where I got this watch. It was 179 of your English pounds at the time, and I think it's good value by and large. So this is a good watch. I like the fact it's versatile. You can change it out for it. Look, I got all these NATOs, right? And like I did when I did a video on this, the same applies to this Seiko. It's a strap monster. You can put as many NATOs as you want. You could change this out for a rubber band like the original one that you get on the SKXs. There's lots of copies of those on AliExpress or on eBay or whatever. You could change it out, like I say, for a stainless steel bracelet, change the look of it. But something I do like the look of it on this here, grey NATO. There's something about, like I say, the stealth nature of it. I love it, man. The grey man. I love this thing. It's so different to any other watch that I've owned. Just the whole vibe of it. It's just like, I don't know, man. Just grey and like stealthy and understated, but at the same time, that the understated nature of it just somehow makes a statement, you know, like basically I'm not bothered what you think of me. I don't need to be flashy. Anyway, it's keeping all right time. I think the loom is not much to write home about. Now, I know people talking about this, and I'll throw in some loom shots, okay, and it's all right. It does the job. But I remember, once again, and my comparisons are always going to go back to the SKX I had. The SKX that I owned, the loom on that, I remember it being a lot brighter, lasting a lot longer, being just everything. And maybe I'm rose tinted here. Maybe this is like, you know, your first childhood girlfriend, your first whatever. Maybe that's what it was, because the SKX that I bought back in the day was like my first like step into it. Felt like a real watch, you know. It was a bit more expensive, and I don't know, I felt like I was stepping up in my collection at that point. So should you invest in a Seiko 5 grey man? I'd say depends, really. If you're someone in the market for a nice dive watch from a good company, if you're looking for that solid classic design, if you're not that bothered about water resistance, you don't need 200 meters, you're not fussed about screw down crown, you're not fussed about not having sapphire, then I'd say this is great for the money. 179 quid, you can't go wrong. But if you're looking for a real diver's diver, you're looking for a tool watch that's going to last, then you will need something with sapphire, maybe even ceramic bezel. You'll need something with a screw down crown, something with a bit more water resistance. So really, it's up to you. If, like me, you're someone who had a SKX and like a fool, you sold it instead of waiting and keeping hold of it. If you regret that, like you don't regret anything else you've ever done in your life, then maybe you should pick one of these up. And it won't fill that hole, that deep, dark void of pain, but it will go some way to scratching that particular itch. So yeah, there you have it. Seiko 5 Grey Man. Lovely little watch. Pretty good deal. I know I've heard bad things, bad QC issues regarding Seiko, but for me, I've never had a dicey Seiko as far as alignment and things like that. Maybe I just got lucky. I don't know, man. But yeah, it's up to you. I would say, if you want a diver, if you don't mind some of those shortcomings, go for it. You are getting an auto, you are getting a classic case design, and in this particular iteration, that's the word. Sometimes I go for like posh words and I mess it up. Well, I get a posh word, but it's the wrong word. In this iteration, the grey on grey on grey on grey on grey of the Grey Man, I would say it's awesome. There's lots of different colours out there, as there always is in Seiko 5s, so you've got to choose carefully. But anyway, that is it. Quick one, in and out. Love this watch. I think it's great. It's going to be a keeper for me. It's going to be a rotator in my little watch situation that I got going on. Bless you guys. Have a good week. I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget also don't forget for me to like, subscribe, press the little bell icon, select all, get involved in the comments, catch up on the shorts and everything. Anyway, I'm out. Later.